So welcome again. After those two inspiring lectures, we are happy also to tell you a little bit more about the ETHCOM project. We already told you about the aim of the project, and in order to achieve our aim to make a difference in the world, we are working on 4 different packages. So the different colleagues will introduce how we can work to achieve all we want to achieve, knowing that tools are the most visible, but it's not the most important. It is important, but not as the only way to achieve more ethical thinking, as we heard in the lecture of Linus van Laar. So those are students of us, and then we already can see that we will talk about an ETHCOM toolkit. We make an ETHCOM toolkit in order to make it in a good way better and easier for different people to use some tools in their program and in their educational program. And we will hear from Anne that we did not just put some tools together, but we really worked hard on it, and also creating the tools, testing the tools, and so on. We will speak about the ETHCOM manifest, because we do have a message and we do have a statement, and that's what Rogerio will do. We want to make a network, not only in the 3 years that we are working on this ETHCOM project, but also afterwards. So all ethical thinkers in nursing and midwifery, they can keep on going and keep on thinking and working together in the network. And we will post everything and show everything and collect everything. And with everything we mean, like, not everything that is available in the world, but that, like, the mean brochures, books, articles, inspiring modules that we will have and we will create during the project in our ETHCOM library. So I'm very happy to introduce you to Anne Lammens from Vives, who will speak about the ETHCOM toolkit.
Hello, everybody. I want to start with a thank you for the warm welcome here in Finland. And it's not only the sauna warmth, but the real warmth of your kindness to welcome us here. So I will tell you something about the ETHCOM toolkit. With Vives, we are responsible for preparing the ETHCOM toolkit together with all the other partners of this project. What is the goal of the ETHCOM toolkit? We want to make a practical compass in experiential learning methods to improve ethical competence in nursing and midwifery. We use the ethical competences of Anne Gallagher: ethical seeing, reflecting, knowing, doing, and being, to improve the approach. I heard Gus saying this, and I agree, it's an approach we want to reach with our students. The toolkit will take the form of an e-book. Experiential learning, all forms of exposure, experience, following by guided reflection to cultivating character of care. So Linus said already. Experiential learning, it's to provide a framework of experiential learning. It is important to clarify why experiential learning is important, and this ethical seeing and ethical reflecting and ethical knowing and ethical doing and an ethical being. Experiential learning can provide a contrast experience, so Linus already said earlier, which in itself guides reflection on and in practice. This is very important, on and in practice. Experiential learning can improve ethical abilities and empathic reasoning, which have to grow. It's a process, it goes not fast, it's a slow process. Out of experience and reflection on this experience. Subsequently, experiential learning can create learning by heart, real knowing, and eternal commitment. Linus already said, people who, for example, did an immersion session in Stimul, after 10 years, they can say what they have learned of this session. There are two parts in the ETHCOM toolkit. We will prepare an instruction manual for teachers and tutors that encompasses a practical compass with how, when, what, and in which context to use experiential learning methods. With other words, with guidance for teachers and tutors describing the objectives, expectations, risks, and pitfalls of the learning materials. We are still doing that. It's a work in progress. The second part is a range of different experiential learning materials with practical instructions and videos. By means of this ebook, teachers and tutors are equipped with practical tools that they can use in daily practice. We will share, of course, the ebook. The ebook contributes to the improvement of the ethical competence of nurses, future nurses and midwives in different contexts with special attention to issues of diversity and technology use. Diversity, for example, we will use different cases which involves religion, age, domains of care, and so on. In the technology use, we think about very high technology wards, for example, intensive care, but also the use of all kinds of different simulation material. So, for example, the elderly suit, the back pain simulation, the bed seeing glasses, and so on and so on. These are the tools. It's not the moment to explain every tool by tool. There are other events that we will use to explain these tools. But this is the list of developed tools. But so I said already, it's a work in progress. I don't read them. You can read them yourself. So we have already 12, but I saw on the internet there are already more tools. That's good. How more tools we have, how better the ebook will be. So the ETHCOM toolkit, the tools has been tested in an action learning team in our own countries about a specific topic. And we tested it in end-of-life care and prenatal counseling, in home care nursing, in neonatology, in chronic care, in maternity care, and perioperative care, and intensive care, in home and community care. So it's a very wide approach. Each action learning team is directed by a motivated teacher, and this teacher is trained in asking reflective questions to the participants, and the results of the ALTs also form the basic of the 4 project results. In the next year, the year that is coming, we will try out the other tools of our partners. So we will switch and try out the other tools, and then probably evaluate them and make it otherwise or better, or we will see. The ultimate goal is that all people involved, so the students, the teachers, the healthcare workers, go through a transformative learning process, which means that complex situations in the workplace are dealt with in a sustainable way. I think that's very important. We already heard Linus say that our students in their work, they have to deal with very complex situations, and when we do not recognize them and guiding them in this complex situation, sometimes we will lose students. They stop with their studies, and that's pretty. That's not so pretty. That's terrible. We don't want to. We don't want that. Yeah. What are the challenges? It's about slow ethics. You cannot have everyone be at the same level at the same time after experience. And that's difficult as a teacher. As a teacher, we want to have results, and we say a lot, and we want to have them to have the same level, but in this kind of in field of in ethics, it's very difficult. Sometimes you have students, they are at that level, but sometimes students stays at that level. But it's slow ethics. They will grow. We plant seeds, and I believe when you plant seeds, sometimes it will come out. It's slow ethics because the growth is different, and you have to provide time to provide reflection. It has to be allowed in the studies. Is it not allowed, then you will not have the result that we want. It is not so important to evaluate the tool as such, but to see how far the thinking goes of the participant feeling this tool. I think this is also a very important thing. Everybody learns at a different way, but what they feel to be a participant in this tool is the most important thing that we have to examine. It is a challenge to get experiential learning in every curricula of care, ethics, in nursing and midwifery learning. I heard about LIS. It's not Europe, it's the world we want to reach. Okay, we will do that then. And at the end of the project, we will share our ebook with everyone who wants to use this way of learning. So a little bit patience, people at home. The project is not over yet. We are making it, but when it's ready, we will share it with the world. Okay. So it's one step at a time. Thank you. And now I give the word.
So thank you, Anne. And now we will hear Rogerio about the manifest.
So, good morning. I salute Laurea University. I salute all the persons in the auditorium and those who follow us online. So, good morning to you too. Thank you all so much for your support. My name, as Liz said, my name is Rogerio Rodrigues, and it's up to me to present shortly, very shortly, the work already developed in the elaboration of one of the expected results of this project, the manifest. We are only on the third version, so we expect more versions in the next future. With your contributions and comments, we hope that many more versions will follow, and we will be able to create a document that clearly express our visions for the teaching ethics in nursing midwifery. So far, we are organizing the document into 5 core topics. So shortly, this is the structure of the document, the manifest. As you saw before, the ETHCOM aims to strengthen the ethical competence of future nurses and midwives by means of experiential interprofessional learning methods. We have a very good presentation in the beginning of the morning with Linus about this, which will be implemented in nursing and midwifery educational curricula and programs. On the long terms, the overall aim is to make the nursing and care profession, as also their work environment, more ethically robust. So with this document, we hope to address policymakers, health and education, professional organizations, nurse and midwifery teachers, students, managers, professional nurses, healthcare beneficiaries, other stakeholders, and citizens in general. As I said, we have at the moment 5 core topics. The first, it's about the dimensions of care, emphasizing the role of the ethical dimension. As far as we are concerned, care takes place in 2 dimensions. Some of the words and concepts are not yet for documents well clearly expressed, but we need a document not for professionals, not for academics. We need a document for the common citizen. That's why some of the words, some of the concepts that are presenting today maybe need a critical analysis, because we need to be clear, concise, but the concepts and the words have to be the right concepts. But we need also to adapt them so for our culture, for our language, and there are some differences, even in the metaphors and the way that we understand them. So the first topic is about the dimensions of care. We have the technical dimension. Yes, it's important. We need that, but our emphasis here is about the competence and in ethics, and we use for now the term or the expression moral sensitivity. The second topic is the relation between ethics and the other or others dimensions of care. We believe that one dimension cannot exist without the other or the others. Care always involves the interplay of both dimensions of expert action, starting from attitude of responsibility. Responsibility, we've been talking about that. It's one of the words, keywords of the document. The topic number 3, the needs of slow ethics. It's another concept, another expression that we have to work and to define clearly what it means. But for us, means that it's slow because it takes time. You need to experience. You need to be integrated in our daily life and in our daily work. So we call for a space for slow ethics in increasingly fast-paced healthcare world. The world of care and the other dimensions of the world are fast and faster. So we need time, and we could not take decisions. It is not possible to expect that a young adult with 18, 19 years to in 3-4 years could integrate all these concepts and transport them to the care to the patients. So we need to look at the curricula, and we need time for experience. And that's this ETHCOM, it's about that. The core topic number 4, teaching and healthcare with space for experimentation and simulation methodologies. And the project, the ETHCOM, it's also about that, about tools, how to teach, but also how to learn. And we had some examples with the presentation with Linus. And we know that theory, it's important, but the contact with the situations and to put in the shoes of the other, it's something important to realize how the patients, how the other persons feels. The number 5, another aspect, it is the education and healthcare preparing for lifelong learning. We are learning every day in our practice, in our relations with others. So it's a process involved the seeing, the being, the knowing, the doing, and also the reflecting about what we are doing and why we are doing something like we do, and why not in another way. So what we propose with documents, we propose a European consensus in learning and training for ethical competence in nursing and midwifery, focus on lifelong learning. And we call to action all the actors in this process, linked to this process, working together in the curricula that allows students to internalize concepts, elaborate a comprehensive analysis, and adequate responses to concrete cases. So you are welcome with your comments, with your different approach. We have developed at now a synthesis work so that at the end of the project we can present an understandable document, not only for professionals and I mentioned before, or for students, but that can be clearly understood by the common citizen. That's why you need to work carefully in the words that we will put in the document, in the manifest. And as I mentioned, we will be grateful for all your comments and contributes. So feel free to contact us. And for now, because we have more 2 meetings, and we have more, I think, about one year to shaping the document. I think for now I think it's enough. So thank you for your attention, and please make your comments, make your contributions, because the document, the manifesto, is not for us. It's not for us. It's for the common citizens, as I mentioned. So help us to have a good document. Thank you.
Thank you, Rogerio. Our next speaker will speak to us from Poland. So Beata will talk us about the ETHCOM network. Beata Drobowska, I see you already there. We will pin you and you can speak to the audience. Welcome.
Thank you, Liz. They are participants and project partners. It is a big shame that I cannot be in person with you in Laurea, but some family reasons kept me here in Poland. But I am very grateful that there is an opportunity to connect with you and to be with you in that way in online form. So the team coming from Medical University of Lublin in Poland is responsible for leading the development of ETHCOM network, which is one of the ETHCOM project outcomes, as you already know. And on behalf of the project team, I would like to shortly talk about the idea of this network. What is the aim of this network? What kind of forms of cooperation we would like to use? And of course, to invite you to be a members to join us. So the aim of the ETHCOM network is, as in case of every network, to collect, to gather experts of different kind, with different expertise, like teachers, scientists, nurses and midwives, ethicists, those interested in ethics and ethical education, specifically education based on experience. In order to expand acquired knowledge and skills outside of the ETHCOM project partners. To have such network developed, we believe, as an ETHCOM project consortium, helps to empower teachers and practitioners, and helps to share good practices and experience, and also helps to cooperate to strengthen the ethical education of nurses and midwives and make it more visible in nursing and midwifery curriculum or across the Europe or even the world. And finally, which is probably a very idealistic idea, but finally it helps to prepare morally sensitive nurse practitioners and midwives practitioners. So this is the aim, to have a group of people working together and share good ideas, share good practices regarding learning ethics. It is a fantastic source not only for teaching aspect, but also I am sure and I hope for scientific and research activity. As regarding ETHCOM network forms of cooperation, which we are trying to develop, we can list ETHCOM network digital platform, which is already built and still under the process of including new items, new sources. So this platform should contain sources on experience-based ethics education and, of course, milestones of the ETHCOM project, sharing ETHCOM project outcomes with wider public. We also envisaged the ETHCOM network newsletter to be sent, to be released once a year with information what is new in the ETHCOM project, mostly regarding ETHCOM toolkits, ETHCOM manifest, and ETHCOM library. And also we envisaged a ETHCOM network meeting once a year. Probably the most convenient way will be online, but in the future the idea is to seek different options for financing also face-to-face meetings. These meetings will be combined with workshops on experiential methods in learning, nursing, midwifery ethics, and or research on the topic, with aim to share good practices and ideas regarding experiential learning of nursing and midwifery ethics. As I mentioned, we already established ETHCOM website. You can see on the slide the link. We invite you to visit it. It is still in progress of building, of expanding, but I hope slowly, step by step, it will be more richer. This website is connected with social media like ETHCOM, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And also we invite you to follow, to become a member of a wider group, ETHCOM network. And finally, you can see the email address for those who would like to become a member of a network. We cordially invite all people interested in cooperation within this network. On the website, there is a letter with more detail regarding the idea of the ETHCOM network, so you are invited to read it. Of course, step by step during the project, we will send this invitation to all the people we think will be interested in joining this network, but all of you are invited. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beata. Nice to hear you from abroad. So, and then finally we come to ETHCOM Library, and I'm happy to introduce the host of the day, actually, Thea Kaiser Olarok. So it's my pleasure to be here again and to introduce Laura's responsibility. It's not a very clear situation how to construct a library, isn't it? But there are more options than threats. So with Monika She, we are happy to establish this with the cooperation with Beata and all our Polish partners, and of course all our ETHCOM partners. And I bet that you have heard the goals and aims of ETHCOM Library, but I still repeat them. And ETHCOM Library answers the European-wide need of lifelong learning materials for improving ethical competencies. So now we are on practice. We are focusing on practice. The short-term beneficiaries of ETHCOM Library are the participants of the projects, nursing and midwifery students, educational and clinical professionals, particularly teachers, tutors, and experts by experience. And them we count as patients, but we respect their experience in experiential learning. So, long-term beneficiaries of the ETHCOM Library are diverse families and patient groups via the improved encountering and increased quality of care. And this is one of the core tasks in our ETHCOM Library, the caretaking and of the quality. Elements of the innovation in ETHCOM Library are that the ETHCOM Library is built on multidisciplinary evidence and European values. The library is co-created and respected the practical knowledge of clinical professionals and educators, awareness of patient histories mediated by expert of experiences. But as we discussed during the pause, it's also important to share the stories of those who come outside European, because we have more and more nurses, we have more and more patients who come globally. And we
know so little about their values, their worldviews, their religions. So it is also a possibility to benefit our students' stories and tell them. So the ETHCOM library reveals the diverse value base of partners and all stakeholders. It also enables analysis, comparison, and synthesis of diverse educational models for the ethical competence development. And you already saw a link of learning by developing, which is John Dewey's experiential learning from early 90s. We are very proud of that in Laura. But when we start the dialogue at library, at ETHCOM network, make that visible, compare, it's really, we are gaining the aims of ETHCOM library. So would you please change my slide? I'm not able to do it from here. Okay. I didn't manage to do it. Okay. So the ETHCOM library is for sharing knowledge and insights. And what do we mean by insights? It's up to us all to define. We are strengthening the ethical competence of future nurses and midwives by means of experiential interprofessional learning methods, results and recommendations from a European Action Learning Project. So this is the official text, and we have to put it alive. ETHCOM project has the societal responsibility to share the insights and results of the project with the broader educational community. The project design facilitates co-creation with predefined quality standards that are required for high-level publications. The contents of ETHCOM library will answer to the questions: what was done, why, with whom, how, and where the results were gained to develop ethical competencies of multiple stakeholders. And these W questions are very common for Pattons, the educational methodologist from 1980s, the W questions and the how. And I think in ethics, the how, despite of being outside the W set of questions, does have the meaning for the ethics. And here are our first efforts. We were celebrating our little Christmas in Porvoo, one of our campuses, the ancient town in which 1806 was it, or when was the Russian Tsar gave the autonomy and for the Finnish citizens. It is a beautiful city, so perhaps we can next time, in next project, be there. We were productive and we created the evaluation criteria for materials in ETHCOM library. And we would like to that those updates in ETHCOM library would answer the next questions. Are the learning outcomes of the material clearly stated? Are the ethical competencies of the focus of the material? Are patients or clients at the focus of the material? Thus, the material support the dignity of the patients and clients. Does the material support the health of the patients and clients? Thus, the material support the holistic safety of the patient. Does the material support professional ethical growth of nurses, midwives, nursing and midwifery students, teachers, and managers? Because we all have opportunity to grow within ETHCOM. Does the material support the engagement of patients, clients, and the next of their kins? Is material applicable to real life? Its real face validity. Thank you. And then we have the technical evaluation criteria for materials in ETHCOM library. The layout, it should be clear. The structure of the presentation is good to be clear. The language of the presentation is correct. And there is a challenge with languages. So In first phase, we produce them in English and native languages, but in Laurea, for example, we have promised to produce them in English because we have the official language of Laurea is also English, not Swedish like in our constitution, but Laurea speaks in Finnish and English, and the native languages of all our partners are there present. And the visual outlook is important also. It is good to be harmony with the content and the message. And quality of images is good. Quality of voice recordings is good. Quality of video recordings is good. Navigation inside the documents is easy. The length of the presentation is adequate. And others to come. We create together those. These are the minimum requirements for ETHCOM library, and this is the first step for us to make it visible. And because Laurea is also kind of responsible for the quality logic model of the project and others, so we started with this kind of very practical tools to guide our videos and other experiential learning tools. Thank you. And now we can give the speech to Lies and we can go to questions.
Okay, as we reach 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock, it depends on where you are. We still have time for questions. So to say, we have -3 minutes time for questions. But even then, if people from home have some questions, you can put them in the chat. If people here have questions, please just ask them about the very small introduction. We chose to do it only very briefly, but to give an overall view of the whole project. So if there are any questions, please, either we will answer them right now, either we will take them in our consortium to make it happen that they are answered before the end of next academical year. So we have some time. Are there any questions right now? So then I suppose either everything was very clear, either we are longing for a break after this very filled time we had already. So thanks a lot, everyone, for your contribution. It's also nice to be as a consortium all in a row in front, and that we finally can show what we have worked on for that long time. And in that moment, I also want to thank even all the students who participated in being a student during their student time, but also all of a sudden being part of an action learning team and make it happen what we want to achieve all together. We also want to thank all our own home universities and home university colleges who are thinking okay, and now we also have to think about ethics, but actually we do so. But people were interested and were listening toward that new kind of project that was still in a kind of way to become a real project, but we feel the support that we are going in the right direction, supported by a lot of people. So thank you, all of you. Have a nice break. We meet again here or online in 1 hour time. And for the practicalities, I look and I give the word to Thea Kaiser.
Yes, I would like to invite you for salad. So we have a table here, and there is French batong, and I hope there is also Finnish rye bread. But salad and refreshments, and we have 1 hour time, and we will come back to this room, this same room, 2 p.m. Finnish time, 1 p.m. Central European time, and then we share our experiences with Margit Eckart. Have a refreshing lunch. In the case you have something to ask, we will answer your questions related to the diet or something others. There will be Mexican salad and mozzarella salad and this kind of stuff. Enjoy.
Thank you.